What's happening, everyone? Jesse here in the studio and coming off an amazing week, one where we had the opportunity to attend the Evoto One event in New York City that was on September 16th, where they made some pretty major announcements. And so I wanted to create this video to not only touch upon some of the newest features that they've just introduced as part of their latest version, which is Desktop 6.0, but also talk a little bit about the experience at the event itself, Evoto One. So obviously we were all at this event in New York City. We had, it was an invite-only event, but we were able to have people join in via live stream as well for the big announcements. And I think first and foremost, there were a lot of different announcements going on here. I think maybe one of the most big announcements outside of like how we're used to using Evoto right now, you know, to edit and retouch our photos, is that they are introducing a product called Evoto Video. And so, you know, when you really think about the possibility, I didn't really think this type of thing was going to be, you know, possible so soon. But to be able to have the same features that we're accustomed to having in Evoto with regards to our photos, so the color grading, like the color matching, the portrait retouching, all those things, to now or very soon have that be available to those who are working with video, I think is just insane. And to see it actually working, I'll put a little bit of a preview here as I record my screen and show you a little bit about how this is exactly going to work and what the interface might look like. So it's not available yet. You can apply right now for to be a sort of access to the beta. So if you want to go to evoto.video, I think it's evoto.video.ai, you'll be able to apply to get access to the beta when it's released. But you know, so to think about professional grade color grading and you know, like I said, retouching, but to apply that to video, especially for say someone like myself who's a photographer, and obviously we have to learn to be content creators, so we create a lot of videos. But it is for me really a pain in the butt to constantly have to go into Premiere Pro and learn all these new things. This is not what I do this is not my strong suit, you know, like video editing and that sort of thing. So always trying to like work through videos, it can become very a daunting task, something that I don't really love and enjoy, that aspect of it, but it's very important. So to think that maybe these tools will become available to us, that'll make this so much easier to produce content that looks great and to do it quickly, I think it's hard to kind of put a price on that, but I'm sure they will, and I don't know what that's gonna be, but definitely a major step here. So now going back to Desktop 6.0, well, actually, all right, we'll take another step back. Before we go into Desktop 6.0, two other major features that they announced outside of what we're accustomed to with Evoto just for photos is, one is called Evoto Instant. I got to pull up notes for this one because, you know, it is brand new. I haven't had a chance to really play with it yet, but it's basically a new tool that's going to be designed to speed up, you know, photography workflow for people who shoot a lot of events. So think, you know, whether it's weddings, whether it's like school photography or any other kind of corporate events, things that you want to be able to shoot and get those images up and edited and culled and all that in a very fast way. That's going to kind of utilize cloud-based features, so it's going to go up to a website, and you'll be able to do culling, basic edits, and quick retouching as well, and then you can decide you know, how to share those, use it with either QR codes or email, password protected links, those sorts of things. So it's really, you know, for someone like myself who does, you know, mainly weddings, I'm curious to see if there's going to be a way for this to fit into my particular workflow, but I definitely see the value, especially when you're out, let's say, you know, we go to sometimes WPPI and you know, there's an event photographer filming on one of the nights that we're all hanging out. So you always get to be able to, you know, kind of go through and find those pictures that someone might have taken of you really quick right away. You get to download it. So that's like a really instant gratification and instant sort of download solution that I think is great. And to be able to apply maybe some of your presets to give it your touch, I think that's a really cool feature. And there's also, I think, a feature within that called, I think it's something where you can you can upload a picture of yourself, like a selfie, and you know, you would scan the QR code, go to the website, you take a picture of yourself. It will then go ahead and look through all the images within the gallery, and through recognition, through AI, it will identify those photos specifically that include you. So this way you don't have to sift through hundreds or thousands of photos. It's gonna categorize just the ones that you're recognized in, and you'll be able to do whatever is needed at that point, whether it's download or whatever the setup is. So I think that's kind of a really cool feature, and curious to see how that works. Again, I haven't had a chance to really play with it, just got to see the demo of it. And there's definitely some value there, especially for certain types of photographers as well. Okay, so and then the other new product I would say is Evoto for iPad. So again, this is a great feature if you're looking to travel light, you want to either tether wirelessly or wired to your iPad and be able to have those same features where you can apply your presets, roll your sliders to get the image to the exact point that you want it to. And then I believe that if you do have an existing account and you log into Evoto on the iPad, it will allow you to use whatever credits you've already had added to your account. So really great way to integrate to, again, travel light out on location and to still get the same amazing features that Evoto offers. So Evoto for iPad, that is another kind of really, really big feature add-on, I would say, that I didn't necessarily expect to be coming. So let's talk a little bit about the actual features that were introduced within the latest version. So that's Desktop 6.0. And I actually just downloaded another new version of 6.0 just before I started to make this video. So, it's just a testament to the Evoto team and how constant they are working to update and make this product something truly special, which it already is. But I love that they're constantly adding new versions, they're constantly adding new fixes, and just to keep this not only stable, but consistent and working well, and just a huge time saver for us. So the biggest thing being added now to the Evoto interface for photos is AI culling, okay? Now, again, this is a brand new feature. I only learned about it maybe a day before the event, and so it didn't really have a chance to go in and, for me, feed it a normal set of images that I would feed it. So I was able to see the demo at the event, and I forget the gentleman's name that was showing it to me, but everything that I was seeing made perfect sense with regards to what I've already seen in the AI culling world. So I think seeing how spending some more time with this, really diving in and getting an understanding for the type of workflow and the type of accuracy based on what I'm accustomed to is going to be interesting to see, and I can follow up with another video once that happens. But really it's everything you would expect, detecting any kind of blurry photos, closed eye photos, duplicates, any issues with exposure in general, and just kind of flagging those and giving you a lot easier time to get through a high volume of images. Okay, so let's jump into Evoto, and we're gonna just take a quick look at AI culling. So I've got a small subset of photos I have uploaded from a recent shoot, and it's only about 40 photos, but we just wanna see how the interface itself looks. Right off the bat, we can kind of see, giving us the EXIF data, it's recognizing faces in the photos. And then here's where we have unlabeled is at 40, because that's what we're starting with. And as we, run this AI culling, it's going to populate some of these other categories. And we'll also have other AI groups and our duplicates as well. So let's see, we click the Start AI Culling down here. And again, this is going to be only free for a limited time. So if you definitely wanted to check it out, I would definitely recommend getting in there as soon as possible. Our event type, we'll select, we can select, in this case, portrait or headshots. We'll select portrait. Now, selection, AI selection, so image count. Out of the 40, it's kind of giving you a chance to indicate how many photos you may want. So let's say I would expect on average to be about 15 images out of 40 as sort of keepers, so we'll put 15. We want closed eye detection in this case. We can say skip for laughing, okay, if that's part of it. I don't think we had those moments during the shoot. Now you have underexposure detection, overexposure detection. We're keeping those at standard. We have blur detection, duplicates detection, and again, low, standard, and high are your thresholds there. And then you could limit selected photos per group. We will leave that as is, and then you have your tags down here. So we're gonna just keep existing tags, and we'll hit Start Culling. Now, again, we'd have to do this against a larger batch of images in order to get an indication as to, or a proper benchmark as to how long it would take to complete. Now that we are finished here, it's going to give us a few things to a few different prompts, especially because this is our first time. But it did pick our 15 images, so we can separate our selection down to that. We can also see, I guess, our duplicates here, things it picked up as duplicates. And so what I have here is a total of 15 selected images. Okay, and I can run through those. So it's a little bit definitely different than what I'm accustomed to, and it's difficult to say in this example with such a small batch of images. I think we definitely have to test this against like a larger event or even a smaller wedding, just to see how the outcome here compares to the outcome that we've had in other programs. So did classify, let's see, one closed eye selection, so I'm gonna just narrow down to just that, and okay, pretty accurate there. And let's see, it did pick up on 2 blurry photos, which I can't tell, maybe these were soft. They do definitely, this one especially looks a little soft. So off the bat, at least it's doing a good job at recognizing certain things such as blurs and closed eyes. I would have felt that some of these images here in particular might have been a little overexposed, but I'm not sure what the threshold is there. I think we had that standard, but maybe if we adjusted the sensitivity, it perhaps could have been different. So, you're gonna need to spend a little bit of more time here, myself included, to really get to know the ins and outs of their version of AI culling. So, I think it's amazing that they're even considering this, that they've added this in, and that they're gonna keep working on it. So curious to see how that develops as more and more updates do come out. So now if we jump back into see what else is new in this version, we're gonna see the next feature is called spill removal. And basically this is for especially useful if you do a lot of green screen work or work in studio where you're trying to extract the subject, but you may end up having color casts from either nearby wall that was perhaps a different color, or in this case, if you do green screen work, like I said, you may end up still seeing some sort of green color casting around the edge of your subject or whatever that might be. So, spill removal is going to be in that background adjustments section. It'll be under backdrop changer, and once you apply a transparent background, if you still see some kind of color casts, as you see here on the screen, that sort of spill removal is going to clean up those color casts for you, and that's going to save you a ton of time in post-production for sure. Now the next on our list is going to be AI exposure and white balance adjustment. So this is something new that they've added where we're going to have a lot more accurate adjustments being made through AI on those white balance and exposure sliders. So this is going to give us the ability to quickly adjust color and lighting on individual photos, and another way to save time to be more color accurate, which I think is extremely important, of course. Now, even out hand skin tones, this definitely comes about a lot in maternity photography, but just in general, I feel like the hands always tend to photograph just a little bit different than the rest of our bodies. So a lot of times we're either pulling out redness or anything like that. So now we have this slider where we're going to basically, through their kind of Dodgenberg technology, we're going to be able to, sort of refine those skin tones with much more precision, and, smoothing out those shadows and highlights will give us a much more natural and cohesive look. Big time if you are a photographer dealing with families, especially babies, infants, newborns, that sort of thing. We're going to have this infant blemish enhancement, and that's going to give us that ability to kind of alleviate some of those patchy skin patterns we find most often on newborns and young babies. So again, huge if you're into families and newborns. This is going to save you a ton of time and keep those photos looking absolutely gorgeous, especially of these young precious little babies. So infant body blemishes, that's going to be our slider under portrait retouching. That is specific to our infants and our babies. They've definitely added more precision when it comes to facial wrinkle removal. So kind of, focusing on specifically the nose, specifically the cheeks, and also what they call the perioral, which a word I didn't really know about, but it's kind of that area above the lips, in between the lips and the nose. So, if you're working with some of your elderly clients who are very self-conscious often about being able to alleviate those wrinkles and those signs of aging, well, this is going to give you a whole new set of tools to kind of make that even more accurate, more better for you, for your work, and to make your clients happier, especially those who perhaps ask for a little extra work than what we might be accustomed to providing. So I always tend to go on the natural side when it comes to portrait retouching, and then I kind of give my clients the ability, if they'd like, to ask me to push it a little bit further. So, always use discretion, start light, and always add more if they need you to. So, there's going to be some new perspective corrections. Okay, this is always helpful, especially when we have a tendency to not always shoot as straight as we'd like. So, with this new perspective correction, we're going to be able to adjust all those lines using AI, and to really kind of give our work a more clean and cohesive look. Of course, there's library tools for faster project organization. So if I go back out, you'll notice here that in the library, so they have this separated with library and edit, we'll be able to create different projects. You can create different collections even, and you'll have different related folders as well. So organization has definitely been put at the forefront here in this new version, and we all know that as photographers, we definitely need to have our images properly organized in order to work quickly and efficiently. Now, one of my favorite features, and I just started using this as soon as I heard about it, was the tethered shooting. So they've had tethered shooting in Evoto for a while now, but it's been always wired tethering. Now, I'm not a huge fan of shooting with anything connected to my camera, especially a wire going to my laptop. I like to move around a lot. I like to walk around a lot. And it's just, for me, it's not a workflow that I enjoy. So, in this newest version, they have now added wireless tethering, which is a huge thing for me. And of course, right away, I went to go ahead and give it a shot. And I was, I had to work through a few issues. So there were a few things specific to my camera, and there's a great document that they have out there where, for me, it was wireless tethered shooting with Evoto using Sony. And you'll see all the supported camera models, and there's a lot of different things here, information. So for me, I had to go into my menu system. I had to update a few things. I had, to basically disable a few settings, enable a few settings, whatever the instructions were completely accurate, because boom, I was through there in 2 seconds, and right away I was able to connect my camera to Evoto, and I'll show you how kind of that works here. So it's definitely different than what I'm used to with, let's say, Capture One, where Capture One Pro, I was wirelessly tethering as well, but the way that works is you tether, your camera creates its own Wi-Fi signal, and then your laptop or your computer would connect to the camera's Wi-Fi. Now, it's great that that solution was really working out well and still works out well. However, what I noticed is that obviously when you're connecting to your camera's Wi-Fi, you're getting a good connection between these two devices. However, you're losing the connection between your computer and the internet. So, during a shoot, if you need to look up things, if you need to, for whatever reason, get out to the internet, when you're tethered wirelessly with Capture One, you lose that ability to do so. So the great thing about tethering wirelessly with Evoto is that you are able to connect your camera to the internet, to whatever Wi-Fi is in the area. So we're using the Wi-Fi here in the studio. So my Sony A9 III gets connected to the SSID here in the studio. And my laptop, of course, is connected to that same signal. So as long as your two devices are connected to the same SSID, you will be able to have Evoto recognize your camera as an available camera to tether. So I'll go show you how we go about doing that here. If we go back out, let's see, go to library. I'm going to create a new project. We'll call it test. And here at the bottom, we're going to see tethered shooting. So I'll go ahead and click on that. Now, on this side, we have wired tethering, which it defaults to, and then we have a choice for wireless tethering. So I'm going to go ahead and put wireless tethering. I'm going to turn on the Sony A9 III, And hopefully within a short period of time, we're going to see that become an option to connect to here in the interface. So what I loved about just tethering in general with Evoto is obviously you can apply. Okay, so here it's popped up, Sony A9 III. I'll go ahead and connect. Now that we are connected, again, I can go through a few other settings here, and what I was getting at is that based on the type of shoot that I'm doing, I can choose one of my own presets to apply on the fly as the images are coming in. So, you know, for me, like recently doing a headshot against a white background, I didn't have to worry so much about getting that background pure white, because it was a small space, a lot of light hitting that backdrop. So I kind of toned it down a little bit so that maybe on the back of the screen it looked, you know, white, but I knew that the values were definitely lower than 255 across the board on the RGB side. And so what I was doing was basically using the background replacement in Evoto, and I was choosing white. And so it wasn't changing the makeup of the photo. It didn't look weird because I was already kind of in that ballpark, but this was kind of finishing the deal for me. And not only that, I was applying all the normal presets I would to retouch the images that I was shooting. So as they were coming in pretty much 90 to 95% done. They looked absolutely amazing. All those adjustments, the stray hair removal, the skin retouching, you know, the clothing adjustments. Like, so now what I'm showing my client as I'm shooting is an extremely polished image that's almost pretty much ready to be delivered. Now, what this does is it gives them this boost of confidence as they're looking at themselves, because they're no longer looking at just a straight out of camera raw file, which sometimes can be a little bit concerning, you know, when you don't expect it for someone who doesn't have their picture taken often. So instead, I'm showing them the most, you know, beautiful version of them pretty much right off the bat. And so you can see the change in their demeanor. They go from being maybe a little nervous, a little reserved, to like fully confident and fully like excited and feeling great about their investment. And so that is worth the price, no matter what it is, to have that. And so, you know, you can go, and there's a couple other things here. You can set custom file names as it's coming in. But again, I absolutely think this is, like, for me, one of the most important features that I could have as part of Evoto. Now, I know that there is, so here it is, a feature called secondary window. So you can basically, you know, view images on a second screen if you had another screen connected. So it will have the images here and both the images on a secondary screen, which is, again, I could see that when you're working with teams of people. So you're shooting and you got your view, but you have a couple of groups of people that are doing some other, you know, check work on like wardrobe or hair and that sort of thing. It's great to be able to have them be tuned in and not have to look just right over your shoulder. So another really great part of this new version, probably one of my favorites, to be honest. So again, there is also live view sort of supported as well. I didn't get a chance to test that out, but they did it during the event itself. So I saw it in action and it was pretty darn cool. So definitely want to check that out. Now, of course, like they always do with every version, just further updates and optimizations. Again, they're constantly updating this thing, and it's kind of scary how good they are at just constantly listening to us and updating the software based on what we want as photographers. That's what we love, those sorts of things, to be heard and to, you know, to see that the features that we're asking for are being implemented and being implemented so quickly. It's incredible. So, you know, that's sort of, I think, a recap of where we're at now with the latest version of Evoto. I would definitely recommend you go ahead and try it. Definitely check out some of those other features I had mentioned. If you have an iPad and you want to try it out, Evoto iPad is out there. If you are an event photographer, you shoot a lot of events and you want to explore Evoto Instant, again, go check that out. A lot of these things are going to have features that are free for a limited time. So again, don't waste time and go ahead and download it and go check it out. And of course, Evoto Video. So again, you can sign up now to be part of the beta. You can put your application in and a couple short fields to fill out, and hopefully they'll be able to select you so you can give that a shot if that's something that interests you. Definitely something that interests me. Again, I create content on the side. It's not my main thing, and so I'm constantly learning Premiere Pro. But if I could have a solution that can get me to the finish line a little quicker on turnaround, I think that'll be something that I would love, absolutely love, of course. So just going back to the Evoto One event, you know, I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to have been there, to meet even some more of the people behind the scenes and to see the great things that they are doing. I think it just shows that they care to actually take the time to host an event. They could have just done a live stream for everybody, but I think seeing how serious they are about this and where they're sort of taking things with Evoto it makes us super excited as creatives. So yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts on everything that's kind of come out new here in this Evoto 6.0 desktop version. Going back to the event, it was such a well done event. I think them going out of their way to put this together and to invite, even just a small group, it just shows that they care. They could have just done a live stream, but they didn't, and they really put themselves out there to answer questions and to demo all this stuff. And so it really gives me a great feeling about Evoto and where we're heading. And so we're excited about even what's to come and everything that they're offering us now. Definitely go check it out. Let me know if you have any questions, drop a comment. Appreciate it if you made it this long. I know it's a long video, but a lot to share on everything that's happening here in the Evoto and retouching world. So next generation type stuff, go check it out.